needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.
We were warned that this was a possibility. We were warned that this could start happening. Today, it's a bomb factory in Tennessee. Tomorrow, magically, it's our electrical grid, which is out of date and heavily unguarded. "19 people are missing." This is a massive, massive explosion. Right now, we don't have really any details. We just know that this was felt up to 10 miles away. That means any of the personnel that were on site they would be obliterated. This is extremely massive damage. The problem is, when you have a porous border, you have no idea who came across it. You don't know where they are. You don't know why they're here. Granted, if we do find out that this was intentional or sabotage, it wouldn't be in the best interest of the authorities to tell us. It would cause fear and panic because essentially there's nothing they can do about it because we don't know who these people are. They would have no social security number. They would have no fingerprints on file. They would have no identification. We don't know what they used to do in their home countries before they came across our border a few years ago. We have no idea who sent them, how they got to Mexico, why they went to Mexico, or why they went to Mexico and they did not bring their families with them. A lot of these men showed up with no children, no wives, but ready to work. They just never asked what type of work those people did. Again, this could be sabotage. This could be intentional. This factory, according to the records, this factory is roughly 45 years old. And they have been around all this time, never exploded. Magically, Trump takes over, he closes the border, he gets rid of DEI. We don't know what type of people were working at this factory. If they were DEI hires that were remnants of the old administration, if they were illegals, and this was done intentionally to hinder our war readiness, being that this is a bomb factory. We do produce explosives here. We don't necessarily know why. We don't really know actually the extent of what they were doing in this location. Tennessee blast. Yeah. Oh, this is a video. Wow, so this was a blast that could be felt in another town. Jesus Christ, this was powerful. An explosion at a Tennessee military munitions plant left multiple people dead and missing on Friday. Authorities said so that happened this morning as a secondary blast forced rescuers to keep their distance from the burning field of debris. So they were worried about a secondary explosion. So that's why they delayed rescue efforts, which would probably have been futile with an explosion of that size. The blast.
All right. Well, good morning. Leader Chuck Schumer may think that
that was on YouTube. So let's see here. The blast, which for people reported hearing and feeling miles away, came from accurate energetic systems in rural Tennessee. The company's website says it makes and tests explosives at an 8-building facility that sprawls across wooded hills near Bucksnort, a town about 60 miles away southwest of Nashville. So that was 8 buildings gone. I didn't see one building, 8 separate buildings obliterated. I didn't see any buildings. We do have several people at this time who are unaccounted for. We are trying to be mindful of families and situations. Humphrey Sheriff's Chris Davis said at the news conference, we do have some that are deceased. That's sad. You know, your family member goes to work and they don't come home. The cause of the explosion, which Davis called devastating, was not immediately known, and the investigation could take days, the sheriff said. What are you going to investigate, and what are you going to find out? What are you going to share with the public? Again, if this was sabotage, a rogue DEI hire that knew they were going to be fired soon, or someone who was sympathetic to the illegals, or someone who's empathetical to the president, wanted to make sure maybe this is a munitions factory that was sending bombs that they worked for the Israeli government. And this person, it could have just been a lone person who took it upon themselves to set off a chain reaction that would cause an explosion. I would suspect that facilities like this go through extreme standards. They have very strict protocols they have to follow for safety and for safety measures, etc. So an accident like this would be very unlikely. Again, we had very lean safety standards when this facility opened almost 50 years ago. So the standards of today would be a lot higher. This facility has never exploded in 50 years. All of a sudden, we get an open border. We start hiring DEI people based on how they look and not their merits, not their experience, but to meet diversity quotas. And what do I always say? You put DEI hires in places that you want to sabotage. A DEI hire is a saboteur in its nature. They're not there because they're good at their job. They're not there because they're the best. They are there because of how they look and to meet quotas. Because you don't know what you're doing and you're not the best at it, there will be mistakes. It will look like sabotage, or it could be purposely done. But either way, you're going to get the same results. You're going to have poor quality of work, and you're going to see wherever they are, you're going to see those places start to fold. This is insane that that this could even be a possibility. But you got to worry about this now at other places. So this is JRL Investigates. He has a live stream talking about this. Tune in for a second.
Seeing if the Fox out of Tennessee does another report about the situation.
I don't see a building. They said this was 8 separate buildings. I don't see one building that survived this blast. This is unbelievable. This is heartbreaking. Men and women worked at this factory. They're saying at least 9. 8 different buildings, bomb factory, Friday morning. There was probably 60, maybe 80 people working. They're saying at least 19. I don't see one. I just see smoke. There's no building. The good thing is they knew to build this in a rural area that was away from the population. Obviously, there's nothing for miles around this. But I don't, yeah, that's a good camera because I don't see any buildings left. Everything is gone. Everything. And when you're dealing with damage of this magnitude, you really, it's really hard for you to quantify the amount of the force of this blast. We don't know what they were working on there, but it must have been something that was potent. But these are professionals. This is what they do. So sabotage is likely. This likely was done on purpose. All it takes is one DEI hire, one person who hates your president, one person who hates their life. You know, they're already suicidal on their own. They don't want to die alone. They want to take others with them. This is crazy.
Press conference, possibly here coming up at the top of the hour. One of the local CNN 18, News 18, just put up a feed which they're in front of gate 1, but I don't know if that's the old one or the new one coming up. But I do believe that we are getting a press conference here, possibly, because the Independent's ready to come up.
Let's check another. We're gonna check another stream.
Massive explosion, guys. Massive explosion out of Tennessee. Breaking news, 19 people missing. 19 people. It's nuts. They had a little presser here. It's coming up right now. Give me a second to rebroadcast this to everybody else.
No, they're about to do a little presser here.
About an hour away. People felt that.
For those of you that's worked with me before, I always try to get you some kind of footage, some, I guess for lack of better words, B footage. I could probably do that in this situation, but it's going to have to be from a distance. This scene is very violent scene. Okay. So if I do that, and I'm going to have to we're going to get with Wendell, Mr. Stinson from the Accurate, and we'll discuss that. So what I'd like to do now is talk to you about this, and then I'll take about an hour and try to get most of all the families, if y'all will be patient with me, talk to the families, get them notified, and then we'll come back and organize from here, and we'll try to escort you in and at least try to get you some footage. Okay? You got a camera blocked right there, that young lady. I don't know. I just didn't want you blocked.
This is like some B-roll of what the place looks like. The aftermath. Really, really nasty, huge explosion. This place is called Accurate Energetic Systems. It's in Bucksnort, Tennessee. Reportedly 19 people missing, and he made it sound like probably a couple of fatalities.
If you look into that sign in front of the presser, it says prison without due process is a concentration camp. So wait a minute. You're telling me in Bucksnort, Tennessee, there are protesters? So there are radicals in this area. If this was somebody who was anti-American, pro illegal immigration, pro DEI, they kind of all work together. You're either pro-America and the America First agenda, or you're against America and you're anti-American. So you're pushing for everything that's un-American. Illegals are not American. You're pushing to you want DEI, which goes against merit, which is un-American. You want these systems to buckle. You want to call these concentration camps. You don't want to focus on reality. So I guess this is the base camp that has been set up of emergency teams, but they're at a distance from the actual blast site. So they're about, I would say, a half a mile away. It looks about a half a mile, maybe about a mile away. This was the facility. It was 8 buildings, and it's gone. All of it. You know, when it came to bomb testing and bomb manufacturing, I thought a lot of this was done underground. I didn't know it was done above ground. But you learn something new every day.
Demolition bar.
10-4, thank you.
I mean,
Okay, obviously a complete loss. We're understanding this is building number 6.
building number 6.
This is Senior Chief Photographer Mike Rose, pilot Jason Morgan. Flying over the campus of Accurate Energetic Systems.
Oh, so there's different campuses.
And
So apparently this was just building number 6 that went up. The other 7 around the area are still there. So luckily, this could have been a lot worse. All the buildings weren't obliterated. Apparently just building 6. This is a sprawling campus, it appears. So there's different sites. But whatever would happen in this building here was devastating. Apparently, so the emergency teams are standing back because there could be secondary or tertiary explosions. Jesus Christ, look how strong this blast was. Look at the cars. Look at the cars. They were blown out of their parking spots, and Jesus. With a blast of this magnitude, you're not going to see human remains. I'm pretty sure you're not going to see a skeleton or anything. I mean, we're made of flesh. We disintegrate. This is terrible. This is horrible. Again, we're not going to be able to rule out sabotage. We're not going to be able to rule out this was an accident, but 45 years of being in service, none of these buildings ever were destroyed. But yet here we are, watching this place burn. You know, that's the thing. When you have an open border for years, you don't know who's here. You don't know what they know how to do. We don't know how many teams from other countries are here that are going to be sabotaging our infrastructure going forward. Today, it's a bomb plant. Tomorrow, it's our electrical grid. It's our dam system. It's our water treatment systems. What do we do when it's the dead of winter and there's no electricity? You guys do know that if somebody drove a car or they even set parts of our grid on fire because they're not protected and it's 100 and something years old, you do know it would take months of work to rebuild and get the electricity back on. If something happened to our grid, it would take months. It could be over a year for some people before electricity is restored. Now, what happens when there's no electricity? Well, there's no water treatment. There's no water treatment, there's no water coming, there's no electricity, so there's no water being pumped into your house. We have a matter of days with no electricity before 20-30% of our population is passes away. No refrigeration. People don't have food stored. People are not prepared for something like this to happen. I try to remind people that we're at war. We're at war with an enemy that we don't even know we're fighting. And the enemy is here and we don't know what they're doing. So that's another campus. That's another one of the buildings. So there were 8 buildings, now there are 7. This is in Bucksnort, Tennessee, a very strange name. I've never heard of it. And it was felt miles away, up to 10 miles away. They felt and heard this blast. That's huge. And it's unfortunate. Trump did the right thing. We had to close the border, but now we have to aggressively go after everyone who is here illegally. We have to aggressively find out who these DEI hires are. We have to remove them from critical infrastructure, from government, from corporations. If not, then more accidents like this will happen. We got lucky with the airline industry. We removed all those DEI people before things got too bad. But there are still some lingering. We had some of these DEI people who hate the government and hate the president working in secret service. If it wasn't for the Charlie Kirk assassination, we wouldn't have even known they were there. They celebrated. But we have to now profile people. We have to play it safe. We are a polite society, but we can't be foolish. We cannot just allow people to be in certain positions, but we don't know their full intention. Oh, well, Rico, you can't say, well, a person looks this way or because they're this, they identify as this and that, so that would be wrong. Yeah, but leaving my guard down so that you can destroy my infrastructure is wrong too. So what do? Become just wait and be victims, or do we do something about it? You can't say, yes, some people are saying, well, you can't say that this is for sure sabotage, but we can't say that it isn't. And that's the problem. We don't know who's here. We don't know how long they planned this to make it look like an accident. I just know that the border was open and there were people coming across that worked in factories in other countries, and they told us, you've never heard of me today, but you will. What does that mean? I heard a man say that at the border, and I took it as a threat, a personal threat, not just, to me, but to my country, the place where I live, the place where my family lives. We're all right here. Let's see what this guy's talking about.
Emergency response. They work to mobilize multiple ambulances from counties in the area. They also bring in these life flight and air evac helicopters to try to get patients out as quickly as possible, because the signs would have been early on. This was an explosion. You could have burns. You could have traumatic injuries. And so to be able to get people into an ambulance, get them to a trauma center, get them in a helicopter to a trauma center would have been their first priority. So we are still waiting for confirmation from the emergency management officials. We've been in contact with them. They're going through some briefings right now as they try to understand from the company exactly how many workers would have been present at this time, how many people we could be talking about that they are looking for, if there are people and employees unaccounted for. So be wary of the numbers that you're seeing and the guesses, because at this point, nothing has been released from emergency officials here in the.
Well, let's talk about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see a lot of cars. I see more cars than there are people they're saying that were in the building. That's not good. That's not good. So, and then also we have to make sure that the other buildings on the campus are also not compromised. See, nobody knows. Because we don't know what happened here, that doesn't mean it can't happen somewhere else. And if this is sabotage, or what if it is on purpose, then they would want the most loss of life. So they would want you to bring in emergency crews. They want you to be comfortable, and then something else would detonate. That's why these other buildings on the campus should be in lockdown. They should all be evacuated. I see a lot of cars at the other buildings. It seems like they're going on business as usual, but they should evacuate the entire facility to play it safe, because whatever happened at building 6 could also happen at 3 or 4. And they're just waiting for more people or more emergency crews to be there for maximum damage.
This page, we invite you to share this information. As we have more details, we'll be bringing that to you as well. Stay with us.
Crazy. I was also Layla sent me this clip. I guess you can hear the blast on a Ring camera. Let's see if I can play that. No word on how many people were working inside. Let's see what else we got here. That's insane, man. That's just to see the whole place leveled like that to little pieces. It's just wow. Let's see what else they're saying about this. So they are going to do another press conference update in 30 minutes. They didn't want to say much because I guess they want to go ahead and talk to family. Yeah.
There's some things.
Wow. The whole parking lot too. I mean, even if you were sitting in the parking lot, you could have been killed.
An update at this hour just coming in from the newsroom. 19 people are missing following this explosion. Multiple people have been taken to the hospital. That's according to the Humphreys County Emergency Management Agency. No deaths confirmed by that agency, but sources are telling us that at least one person is dead. That source is on the scene and familiar with the situation unfolding. If you have family members who work at this plant, and by the way, we should mention the name of this factory is Accurate Energetic Systems, which is an explosives manufacturer. We're being told right now that family members can go to Gate 3 to try to get information from their loved ones. We've got multiple authorities that are working on this right now. Houston County authorities, Hickman County authorities, state police are involved, Humphreys County authorities on scene now as well. So if you're just joining us, we do have breaking news. This is out of Hickman County, where an explosives plant, there's been an explosion there, and we've learned that 19 people are missing because of this. We have confirmed with one source that one person is possibly dead, but the Humphreys County Emergency Management Agency, which is sharing the latest update about the number of missing, has not confirmed any deaths at this hour. Now, we did talk with multiple hospitals in the area. Ascension St. Thomas is one hospital that we've just been able to get a hold of. They say that they're aware of the situation. They have no patients yet, but they're going to keep us updated about whether or not that changes. Our team has reached out to Vanderbilt University Medical Center as well. Of course, we know that they have a trauma center there, and that's where perhaps patients could potentially be going. So if you live in this area, you already know that there are road blockages in effect right now. If you don't and you were planning on passing through, we should let you know that there is a major thoroughfare through that area that's currently
see what this lady's saying.
This on AES, you're looking at their website here. They essentially make munitions and explosives for different agencies and sectors. So for the defense sector, for the commercial sector, they're making explosive pellets at this particular site and demolition charges as well. So on the commercial side, think, oh, we got to make a road and blow up a piece of the old one to put in a new one. That's the kind of product that they're making there. Several different agencies from Hickman, Humphreys, Houston County, all of them out there working on this. We know the TBI, Homeland Security, and TOSHA are involved in the investigation as well. THP has set up a command post, and family members, if you have a loved one who works at this plant, you're being asked to go to gate 3. That's where workers and authorities are trying to connect everybody with the appropriate information. The explosion happened around 7:30 this morning at AES, which again is a manufacturer of explosives. It's unclear what exactly led up to the explosion, but we are hearing from people all over the mid-state who felt this and who heard this. We're talking people in Murray, Williamson, Decatur, Hickman, and Lewis counties.
Well, we were just sitting in our living room drinking coffee, and all of a sudden we heard just a massive boom. It was like a two-part boom, like a boom, boom. But it shook the house. It rattled the windows. I mean, we thought something happened in our front yard. We were running outside, looking around, and didn't see anything.
As you can imagine, security cameras captured the moment of that explosion, and you can hear it in this video.
That's the video, yeah.
You can almost kind of feel it in that video as well. And you see the camera shake ever so slightly before hearing what sounds like the shattering of a window pane. A lot of different images and videos coming into our newsroom of this. Again, we have been hearing that family members who are looking for information about their loved ones go to gate 3. That's where all of these emergency responders and HR with that company are going to be to try to connect you with the best information. All right, Stefano, this was such a big explosion that you were able to detect it on First Alert radar as well.
We were, and I actually have that image for you now, so if we can go ahead and bring that up. So our First Alert live radar, I mean, it can see into the atmosphere so well. And by the way, this is only loop you're going to see on radar here that actually picks up the entire explosion. Obviously, our thoughts go out to all those impacted by it. So this is the area you're looking for, just to the southeast of Hurricane Mills and just to the southwest of Milltown as well. When I put this loop into motion, you'll see that little blip pop up on the radar. That shows just how massive this explosion was. That big plume of smoke getting put into the air was so large that it was able to get picked up just by our First Alert live radar. So it really is incredible footage here just to kind of see that on radar. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but when the radar's picking up on something that small or that large, I guess, in such a small area, you know it had to have been a big explosion. Now, as you're headed out the door today, if you have lunch plans this afternoon, we're sitting in the 70s. Might try to push near 80 in downtown Nashville, but that'll be it.
Wow, dude. Wow. So update coming up soon in about almost less than 30 minutes. Update coming. I mean, it's just insane to see the damage that's been done. And I don't know that you could think anybody survived that. Who knows how many people were inside of this building. I believe they were saying building 6 is completely leveled. Even if you were just in the parking lot, sitting in the parking lot, you could have got killed. Wow. Accurate energetic explosion. Accurate energetic systems. It's a risky job. And I wonder, is there underground parts to the building, or is it just above ground? And some of the helicopters there. This was 5 years ago. Accurate Energetic Systems announced expansion.
I serve as our Commissioner of Economic and Community Development, and today I'm going to serve as your brief MC.
In 2020, announced a $10 million expansion and 80 new jobs.
To assist with the run of show for what we're all, and I think a new and our counties on their morning commute.
Let's get right to that breaking news that we were following at the top of the hour. The Hickman County Sheriff's Office says multiple people are dead after an explosion in Tennessee. This is what the scene looks like in McEwen, Tennessee. This is Bucksnort area. Again, Hickman County, if you're familiar. That's about an hour west of Nashville. The fiery incident occurred at Accurate Energetic Systems, LLC. They specialize in manufacturing military explosives. Authorities just updated us that multiple people are dead, multiple people are in the hospital, and they are still searching for people. We will continue to bring you updates inside this newscast and inside the Local 3 News app.
Oh, here we go. Okay. I'm checking to see for new updates while we wait for the press conference to start. This is going to be a mass casualty incident for sure. I think multiple fatalities. Building 6. Wow. What went wrong in this place? Produced and stored explosives, including bulk explosives, shaped charges, demolition kits, and specialized items for military, defense, aerospace, and demolition, mining, and oil industries. Crazy day, man. Holy. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Al Qaeda. Google Maps. Oops. Accurate energetics systems. Before and after photos. Let's see. Wow. Oh, this was the place right here. Yeah. Before. That's the parking lot that we see all torn up. That's the building right there. That's after. Completely gone. AES. Accurate Energetic Systems Trusted. Your partner in energetics. Manufacturing and processing of bulk explosives. We specialize in the creation of high grade explosives for demolition and ensuring rigorous quality and safety standards. Fabrication of energetic devices and demolition explosives. Load, assemble, pack operations. Casting of specialty melt pour explosives. For creating robust shaped charges and other explosive configurations. Pressing of explosive munition pellets. Explosive testing and characterization. TNT. Specialty coded formulations.
Just devastating. I don't see any humans. I don't see any bodies, no flesh. Everything's just gone. Everything.
Effective directional fragmentation, prime contractor for PMCCS. Demolition charge. M2A4 15 pound, M3A1 40 pound demo charges. They got it all over there. C4.
Yeah, so this is a huge contractor for our military. I wonder what percentage of their bombs and does the military get from this particular company? And I wonder, does each state have their own manufacturing for this industry, or is it only a few places in rural areas where they build these missiles? Because the government doesn't build stuff itself. They contract out the work to companies like Accurate here, engineering, and they do their work. I mean, think about it. Nuclear bombs are covered under the Second Amendment. So, but the government doesn't house all these weapons. And when they make them, they're made by independently owned companies. And the nukes, for example, are housed at these facilities. The government has access to them, and they can order them, but they have to be created somewhere. It's not like these are all. We don't live in a communist nation where the government owns all the means of production. A lot of the production is independently owned by independent contractors. So Accurate Energetic Systems is one of those contractors. This is Eichel Mel, and we're going to go ahead and give him a like for his video. But that's a large area. This is an aerial view from a helicopter. This is an aerial view from a helo, and look at the devastation. You don't know what was there. I can't tell what was there. I have no idea that there was a building. But if you look at all these individual blast marks, I don't know if this was ground zero right here, or is that where all the blasts first started and then it just went out? Because it's very clear over there, just concrete. And then you see the devastation around it. So that could have been where everything initially exploded. But how? What triggered this? Again, you can't rule out sabotage. We have an open border. You cannot rule out sabotage because for 4 years they were pushing to put DEI saboteurs across our country and all different corporations on the board of directors, in factories, in facilities, in government, even in our Secret Service. So we can't say for sure that this was not done on purpose or malicious. There's no way to rule that out. Period. There's nothing you can do. Hard stop. That is a possibility. Nothing can be, you can't say, oh yeah, this was an accident. They've been open for 45 years. They have strict safety standards. Now, all of a sudden, after an open border, magically Trump's the president, and then you start having blasts like this. You start having issues with, and you start looking, well, who are the personnel? What does your board of directors look like? Who shouldn't be there? Oh, they put women that were forced in there for diversity quotas. Oh, they put these people of color there. These people aren't here for their merits. They're there for diversity. And they're, frolicking around talking about their sexuality, but they're not talking about their experience with safety hazards at a bomb factory. It's just as ridiculous as, well, let's diversify the skies and put based on your color and what you have sex with at night, we're going to put you as an air traffic controller. What sense there when there are lives at stake? You can't be diverse. Diversity is a weakness. We shouldn't have diversity of thought. We need to be on the same page. Unbelievable. Do me a favor, share this video, share the live. I'm Right Wing Rico, the single boyfriend, Rico Limbaugh. I like Rush Limbaugh so much that I may put his last name as my last name on all my social media going forward. Hopefully you guys stay tuned in. We have some more topics coming up in a couple of hours. Actually, in about 20 minutes, we're going to go live again. We're going to go ahead and sign out of this. This is a tragedy. I just wanted to report on it so you guys can get my perspective about it, and I can read the news to you. Like and subscribe, share the video. I'll be back shortly, and we'll go over some other topics for today.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.